Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School, Age of Wonders 4 Edition. This is how big this map is, by the way. This is the game we've been playing. We've seen
Yeah.
this part. This is how big the map is. So, we're still supposed to be trying to meet the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth remnants, we must defeat them or ally with them. Who fucking knows how long that might take? I have no idea where they are. And they are positively just... The map is so big.
Yeah.
So we're under siege. We're being
All
besieged.
right.
Things are bad and
I
they're
forgot
happening.
about that.
Things are bad and they're happening. And there's not a lot I can do about it right now. So I guess this army's kind of just not doing it. This army's waiting. And our scout over here. We're trying so hard to find just some kind of evidence of something. Yeah, I don't know. Our scout over here doesn't really have. I guess we can probably we're allied with what's his face now, the Phoenix. So it should be okay for us to move through his territory. I don't know if it necessarily makes sense for the Commonwealth remnants to be on the other side of him, though. Maybe I should be looking more down this way. I don't know. Alright, so we have an army up here. We have another army down here that we're hopefully going to be able to push the Eye of Manohari with. It's supposed to give us lost knowledge. Who knows? Maybe it'll be relevant to the location of these fools. But at this point, this is kind of what we're doing. We're just like trying to find the unknown ruler and then defeat our ally with them. And these story realms, they try to give you story objectives, right? But your verbs are quite limited. There's only so many things that a story objective can actually be in this game because of the rules of the game.
Right.
Necessarily. So
Do the verbs feel more restrictive here than in like a proper 4X game? Does it feel less expressive to you because of the military focus, or?
no, I mean it's all kind of the same.
Okay.
I thought for sure we'd be able to travel over his territory. So if we have a wizard's bond, we can improve empire relations and access new treaties and diplomatic states. The throne city of each ruler will be revealed. Rulers can call each other to war, and this leads to the Open Borders Pact. So we offer wizard's bond. They offer sure. Great. Now, what about an open borders treaty, friend? They offer us. It's a deal. Great. I love that. Your capital's all the way down there, huh? Okay, and then also they have this free city, I guess, under their control. But this will allow us to actually run our scout through here and see what's what. And then this guy will search northward. Okay, we have a lot of enemies incoming. There's a lot of birds that have to get dealt with. We managed to clear one bird nest, dampen the assault from one direction. But there's just a lot of fucking enemies coming in really, really fast. So you have finished. You're going to join this army. And then we can probably rush out the Shademaker here. Yeah, very, very close to done. Let's go ahead and just pay for that. So at this point, we can at least run. We can run superior forces here, right?
Yeah.
We have lots of bodies. We are ready to fight. $12.20 versus $4.90. I'll take that. Something tells me that the auto combat will probably be sufficient on this one. Hooray!
Yeah,
And a medal for one of our crabs. What a hero. Get back inside our territory so you're healing. Okay. And we have a little bit more room inside the army. What is this army's makeup currently? So we have Big Phoenix, we have a Death Beetle, we have an Archer. Growlin Spring Shower is mostly to be considered a ranged unit, I think. I mean, we still have our melee strike, but we don't have a normal ranged attack. But I'm just thinking in terms of like the balance of this army. I guess another archer is probably the thing that we want.
Okay.
Just trying to complete some stacks here. I feel a lot better about us being able to hold our own now. But we got to track them back to their bird nest and annihilate them. And here we're going to be facing waves and waves of garbage until we can clear the derelict workshop. But unfortunately, if it's producing garbage Arby's, you know, I don't want to have to fight too many forces at once. So Zendara the Phoenix ran some bodies out here, and he's kind of in their way. I don't... These things, I think, are at war with all players by default. Just these Marauder type units. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to back up a second here, and let's just see if Zendara deals with this for us. Step back into my own territory. Wait one turn. Because I would love it if we didn't have to fight that. We are continuing to develop Empire skills here, and we're not using our Imperium for much else. Expert Sailors gives your coast, water, and river provinces +2 food automatically, and rivers count as roads for movement purposes. That's kind of neat. Or the Rite of the Guardian Spirit immediately summons a Spirit Wolf with Guardian Spirit and Resurgence at your throne city. When the unit dies in combat, it is revived at the end of combat if its owner is victorious. And friendly animal units in combat with it gain bonus stats. Do we want to pay 175 Imperium for a single dog? It's like a pretty good dog. It's not that great even, really. Honestly, it's not even that good of a dog. Seems very strange to me. I'm also just like looking at the other skills that we don't have yet. Free cities with a whispering stone assigned to grant you +15 knowledge. Oh, that's... Yeah, we already have that. I was like, why would I not have bought that? But I did. I did bought that. We don't have enough mana income to make more casting points terribly relevant. So we're going to run out of casting ability on that. I think maybe we just hold off on our Imperium spend for the moment. I can create a new bounty. And I do want this derelict workshop destroyed. But, again, we're just like... We are too poor to be offering We don't have the mana or the gold income to really manage bounties. Turns out you kind of have to have a functional economy.
Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird.
It is weird.
Usually
Okay.
functional economy is your jam in these games, it feels like.
Well, I mean, I'd like to have one, certainly. Okay, so Zandera did manage to shut down one of the 3 armies coming out of the workshop. That certainly helps. And then these guys did attack us, even though we have twice their units. What a curious maneuver. Auto Resolver wants to kill 2 of the worst units. So here's the thing, like, there's no reason for that to happen. In this fight, those 2 units are badly injured, and I would hold them back manually.
Right.
However, this is a battle with enough units where it's gonna like actually doing the battle is gonna be kind of tedious.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna the thing is we could play this better, and it would be trivial to do so, but it would also be annoying and feel like a waste of my time. And the units we're losing here are not great units.
I mean, that's your
So
call.
I'm just gonna
As
accept
long
that.
as you do the contractually obligated 1 fight per episode.
The Warden of Manuhari. From above the realm's branching treetops, a mechanical shriek announces the attack of the Warden of Manuhari. Imbued with life by the ancient Krasura, the powerful progenitor golem is the god protector of Manuhari, assaulting trespassers or invaders of the realm without mercy. According to Krasuran myth, it once defeated the obsidian worldworm and through this achieved immortality. Okay. Grasslands northeast of Probalion. Well, I will show them the feather of the Yukara to prove look, me and the Krasura are cool now. Can we be friends? Did that accomplish anything? Zandera the Phoenix has a personal preference for your actions of don't break treaties. Cool. It's not clear to me if that did anything.
Yeah.
It might be buried in one of these notifications somewhere. Anyway, somebody needs to go shut down this great bird nest. So maybe you... Here's what we'll do. We'll have you give me one of your archers instead of waiting for the other archer to finish. And this army will ride out to clear the bird nest while this other army stays home and plays defense. Because apparently we have to play defense. We got it coming.
Okay.
Ain't this always the way? It feels like there's just never a quiet moment for us. So we can see some kind of structure here. A watchtower provides vision in an 8 hex radius. Ah! Warning shots and readied mage-lock rifles of soldiers clad in razor-sharp armor make it clear that Valerie of House of Vernos does not welcome your arrival. Begone, Emperor Growlin' Spring Shower! The likes of you are the blight of the astral sea. Ever hungry for power, you conquer world after world, enslaving and slaughtering the free people of the realms. This ends now. The champions of the mortal races will rally under the banner of a new commonwealth. Oh my god, okay. War machines and technology, there's so much talking. You have one chance to surrender, otherwise there will be war. I mean, I don't need war. You err in thinking all wizard kings are malevolent. Allow me to elaborate. We can all be friends here. Your attempts at reasoning with Valerie is immediately cut short. Save your breath, Valerie exclaims. I have no interest in your lies and attempts to bewitch my mind. Too often have I witnessed the foul influence of poisoned words. The Shadowborn, Emperor Leonis, it's all in the past. A past that made me stronger. Boy, punctuation is just like a mystery to the people who wrote this game, huh? If the torment of shadows didn't break me, neither will you. The only wizard king I would trust is one trapped in a cage of binding at my mercy. Yo, we just met, lady. I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
right? This is
No. It is very like the whole thing. Like I have no interest in your lives attempts to bewitch my mind. Like I'm not trying to bewitch anything.
but if you will engage in my kink with me, then
Yeah.
maybe. Cool. I love the dude at the party with the expensive toy bag. Ugh.
So the quest.
So the quest is to say nothing and just
Uh.
and just cage myself. Fucking fine, whatever. I'll do it. Here's the thing. What I'm trying to avoid doing, and maybe for the purposes of our adventure here, maybe we should endure fighting one of these forces. The thing I'm trying to avoid doing is trying to having to actually kill a player, because I have found that it's an incredibly annoying task. It's not difficult necessarily, but when you go to defeat another player, you have to send their you have to destroy their capital city and have sent their hero to the Shadow Realm, right?
Okay.
We read about this. You remember?
Right. Yeah.
To take out their capital city, you have to obviously defeat the armies that are defending it. And if you're playing on any reasonable level of difficulty, because the AI is terrible at the game, especially the economic part of the game. If you're playing on any level of difficulty that could be any challenge at all, the AI is getting such bonuses that, and they just will buy they'll buy a new full stack every turn or two. And so it's just like slogging through battle after battle after battle after battle after battle while you...
Yeah, and I'd rather you avoid that because I don't want to be unkind. But this is not my favorite of the games we've looked at Vorik School. So something that turns it into like a slog, I'd rather you avoid that for yourself and for me.
What's the auto combat result look like here? What I would like to do myself is mostly hide behind Blue's units for the attack. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's fine. That's an okay outcome. We can't quite attack the Derelict Workshop ourselves, but hopefully Blue will remain nearby. And because we are allied with Blue, we get to treat their territory as friendly for the purposes of healing.
I mean, you have more gold than one now. Can you do a bounty now?
I'm not going to. We can handle this
Okay.
elsewise. I don't want to give them my money.
No, that makes sense. Okay.
All right, so we have produced some stuff. We're still too poor. Always perpetually too poor. Plus mana per adjacent forester. It's not horrible. If we wait one turn, we'll have the money to produce a monolith or a mint. I think that would probably be... We'll just leave it on produce merchandise for one turn. Alright. So, we completed a chapter, and we are now allowed to select ourselves a new tome. A tier 2 tome here. What do we have as far as tomes that might let us summon more animals? Do we have any like beastie type tomes left? The Tome of the Glades gives us access to Glade Runners and Entwined Protectors. These are really more like Big Magic Tree Man type units.
Yeah.
Animate Flora would let us summon those floral stingers, which do not, our bonuses will not apply to. I don't know that we're going to be able to find another animal summoning spell, though. We might just have to...
Totem Mayhem. Mayhem.
Okay. So this gives us Gremlins, a disruptive and fiendish skirmisher unit. Has the ability to do damage to a target while turning it 180 degrees. Obviously, there's some utility there. The Mark of Misfortune makes the attacks of the enchanted unit inflict misfortune. It gives fumble chance and makes things take damage when fumbling. That also causes misfortune was a direct fire spell. We can incite revolutions in enemy cities. Target enemy city loses a border province and the associated population is lost, and spawns a crummy unit camp. And then Sow Confusion is a siege project. So siege projects, you run these when you're sieging enemy cities, and then they go off at the beginning of the battle for the city. So this would cause enemy units are displaced by 4 hexes, suffer misfortune, and slowed. I mean, these seem okay. You really want the Tome of Mayhem?
Well, it's just because it's called the Tome of Mayhem and has a gremlin. I mean, really, you can pick whatever you want, but like if you don't have anything else you're picking.
It's not
Look at that face, too.
It's not particularly well associated with our stuff, but it's fine.
Making fingers numbed by uncertainty lose
so hold on a second. We need to research the Cage of Binding. So how does this work exactly? When inside a Cage of Binding... So how do I research the Cage of Binding? Because we're about to embark on a research, and I'm assuming that when they say research, they mean like it's an actual...
Yeah.
But it's not super... Cage of Binding researched. So I was kind of hoping it was just going to appear in our research pool here. Maybe it's in the pool? I don't know a way to look at the whole pool. Or if we would have had to have, like, if the Cage of Binding is a thing that's actually in a tome somewhere.
In which case, I'm sorry that we chose to get Tome of Mayhem.
I mean, but... I will go back. I will reload a save. I mean, okay, here we go. It is a spell that just shows up just randomly in the pool. How intensely shitty.
Yeah, no, I hate that very much.
What if you re-rolled a bunch of times and it didn't show up? Randomly is not a good way to do that. Okay, you guys I don't think are really going anywhere. And a hero leveled up, your ruler leveled up. Okay.
You're saying you don't like it when you know what you want to do, but you need to have random chance to hopefully just give you the ability to do the thing? That's so crazy. Such a...
Yeah, sure.
Game design.
Game design. Our ruler leveled up. So we had taken devastating evocation. We have a pretty good lightning evocation now. All attacks gain a chance of inflicting burning, chance of inflicting electrified. So electrified is 4 lightning damage per stack. Burning is okay. These two things are damage identical, but while burning counters and is countered by wet and frozen, this actually doesn't interact directly with wet at all. I thought it did because of lightning damage. I don't know. Melee attacks now inflict sundered resistance. I don't know. I'm trying to remain competent, sort of like broadly. I am not specializing my hero at the moment. Magic origin base unit upkeep is reduced. Yeah. A lot of skills that I kind of don't care about. You guys are not doing anything this turn. You are also not doing anything this turn. We should probably have an eye down here. Okay, unfortunately, Zendara is moving their units away from the workshop rather than staying here to help us or clearing the workshop themselves, which I would have been fine with. That's annoying, but I think we can handle it, provided that it doesn't spawn another army this turn. Okay, we still get one of their units as reinforcement.
Okay.
So what do they have? They have a mage lock cannon. Has a 5 range, units in a 3 hex line, sustain damage, have defense mode canceled. It's got poison and piercing. Yeah, it's bad news. And then they got a couple of birds, a sharpshooting bird folk with the rifle, and just, you know, a random zombie, basically. The heavy mage lock is a pretty powerful gun, actually. And it has surprising range. But we should be able to handle this for sure. We're bringing in a plague serpent from our allies' army. And let's go ahead and do this one manually.
Thank you for fulfilling your contractual obligation.
Might be worth spending some magic on. It's very goopy over here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate some terrain. Something to approach from behind. Let's see. Okay, so you can get around there. You can get around here. So basically, the tiles around the building are not safe. Let's move you up to just like here then. Probably going to want the hermit on this side. We're going to want an earthbreaker over here. It's wild that I can move to here without going through the muck, but it wouldn't plot that course initially.
Yeah.
That feels kind of shitty. Where's my allied unit? Okay, I do not control you. Oh wait, maybe I do? No, I don't. Okay. I was figuring he should be controlled by his own AI, but I wasn't 100% sure. I do really like, you know, battles with mixed forces like this.
Yeah.
All right, we were able to get them to move into combat range at pretty low cost here. Oh man, they're very careful about moving stuff closer than they need to, you know. However, I might be willing to spend a conjure elemental. It's only 20 mana, and it does really good work. And distracting something like this might be worth it. So this is poisonous. Units passing through the hex become poisoned for 3 turns, so like 12 damage. Expect every movement through that stuff to cost 12 damage, as well as the movement itself just, you know, making it awkward to move. Yeah, just hit him. Let's see. So I do want to summon a Spider Monarch, of course. Obviously. I think that goes without saying. The Spider Monarch, we don't care so much about the poison. So just run through here, let these guys know that they are not safe. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize I had a reasonable charge from over here, and this charge would have disabled their retaliation. I should absolutely have done that first. All right, let's move the bird out. Obviously, the flying units do not have to worry about the poison.
But
I want to try to focus on this cannon early, so I think I am just going to go ahead and conjure the elemental. Not only are you punched, but now you're wet, nerd. Take that.
it's usually not great for cannons.
Yeah, traditionally, this is tricky for you. So I can only get close enough to get a single 65% shot. If I stop short here, I could get double 65s against some of the other enemies. Maybe that's better. Yeah, maybe. I always forget that like people can't move through my own units. It's such a strange thing.
Yeah? Well, why is that strange for you?
Because you can move through friendly units in like damn near every game.
Oh, that's really interesting because, certainly in my line of work, it really varies, basically depending on the size of the units, the frontage being represented, the technology of the time. Where part of the kind of problem you have to face is like how to withdraw a battered front line to bring your second line up, or how to get people in place, because you try to move through a friendly unit, you're going to disorganize that formation. Here, these units feel a bit more skirmishy.
Yeah.
They
are still like parties, but sometimes a unit represents a single person.
Now, I will say, in games where you can't move through friendly units, single person units like leaders and whatnot usually do move freely in the board game space, because that makes one person's not going to hold up I can't get around Napoleon. I guess we're just stuck behind him. That's not how that works.
Their cannon rolled off into the muck because it is presumably because it is a mechanical unit and will not suffer the poison damage. So let's see here. We reckon pretty good odds on just burning this guy out with Larissa. Let's just take the magical bolts here. She does a lot of damage. All right, I can pursue and just barely fire on the cannon. Yeah, they want me to be more worried than I am about this. But these are not real units. They will not survive the poisoning, and that's fine. They weren't going to survive the end of battle anyway. Alright, let's work together to keep that thing in place. We can chew up their skirmishers real quick. Morale is getting nice and high for our team, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of healing on this squad. There's not really a lot we can do about this Earthbreaker having taken so much damage. But I think I'm just going to try to withdraw. I'll let the other Earthbreaker have room to
That makes sense.
open up on these guys. I don't think we need to cast anything else. Okay, our ally is willing to commit its unit big time to catching this cannon as well.
That's
What hateful creatures.
dirty pool.
I mean, I don't know that it's dirty. It's spiteful. And they are going to die for it. That's a pretty fun little leap attack.
Yeah.
Get defense mode. And then, yeah, all that's left is killing this guy. $365s or $290s. I guess I'm standing in the bottleneck too, so going for the $290s lets me move out of the way. That's an important consideration. You could shield wall. You can run out to here and sadly be a tile short of being able to contribute any range damage of your own. And look at that. The final enemy unit goes down while our poisoned guy has 1 HP. Survival. And we destroyed their shit, so we get some rewards. We got a scrap hermit. We got just a chunk of resources. 180 production is certainly not small. And a striking crossbow. A tier 3 primary weapon, 20% crit damage, a 4 range main fire attack that has a 60% chance of blinding. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good
It's
overall.
interesting how the fantasy 4X space, and I guess it's more military focused stuff, tends to have stuff like equipment for your named characters, which I didn't really, you don't really see that so much in, say, Civ or other like more historical 4Xs, and I think that's. I don't know, I think that's an interesting way that's kind of tying to the lineage of like RPGs and that whole space.
Sure, yeah. It does. Some of the science fiction ones are like that as well. It's not
Okay.
not all of them, certainly. So our friends over in Pentacle have gained control of some haste berries. They took over a province that has haste berries in it. So founding, migrating, and absorbing cities is now faster for us since we have access to the haste berries. And also, if we collect all 3 of these particular magical things, we'll get the Imperial Essence Collection effect, which gives bonus Imperium income. And you can see there's different... all of the different like magical resources are grouped into different groups that give you different bonuses. Larissa. Let's see here. We can grab resistance, which is like fine. Elemental echo. Magic attacks and abilities inflict +1 electrified, burning, or sundered defense against people who already have those things. That's kind of cute. Elemental gateway deals damage to adjacent enemy units. The unit then teleports to target hex. Interesting. So it allows you to like vacuum an enemy unit. Changing the position of enemy units while still dealing damage to them seems pretty good. Any kind of forced movement is always really valuable. Also, a new hero would like to join. The instant we have a little bit of gold, all of a sudden everybody's after it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, so we could bring in a new body. The bird people are more expensive, I guess because they're bird people, but also because they're level 5. And I don't know, like, I think we probably should take another hero, but like, at what point am I paying attention to all these characters? At some point, it's just like, you know, it's a good combat unit or whatever, but I'm already kind of... personally slay a unit of legendary rank in combat. You would like to win a combat in enemy territory. You know what? That seems doable. You're an arcane governor, so you give extra mana from conduits and stuff. Welcome aboard. It turns out we could use some more powerful combat units right now. Just gonna attack here because I think these guys are going to attack us if we don't. Seems like it shouldn't be a problem. Wow, okay. Let me see if I can outperform that.
Yeah, they did say it was a risky battle.
Yeah, our total combat strength is higher. And keep in mind, I had the AI set to not use magic. So I can cheat and summon us in extra elementals and stuff here. So we're looking at some tier 1 Grimbeak Crows, Spirit Hawks, Carrion Birds. They have their own Scrap Hermit, and then they have this thing, the Storm Spirit, which is the thing that's going to give us the greatest danger. Teleports to target hex, deals damage, and creates electrified terrain in 1 hex radius around it. So we want to be careful to try to keep our units spread out enough that Shocking Phase isn't going to deal a huge amount of damage or create like a huge amount of terrain difficulty.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they don't really have much in the way of range. So I think let's maybe actually back it up a little here. I don't want to get, I don't want to be in a position to get too aggressive this turn anyway because we don't have our spells yet. You can't cast on the first turn of combat.
Hmm.
So let's follow everybody back, let them advance a little bit more, hopefully. Yeah, that's a fine example of what I was about to say. Hopefully in kind of a spread out way that lets us potentially access them more than they can access us. So we can... Fire evocation is 4 range. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we'll start some fires and get them bleeding. You have your whirlwind strike, but that requires you to be adjacent to people. Probably cultivate nature aspect like next turn. Right now I could run forward. The cultivator will probably get killed if we're not like super careful about our positioning.
Okay.
Obviously I do want to like live.
Right.
But we also can just like throw up cultivate nature affinity on somebody and stand back a little bit. Maybe that's exactly what we do. And then put you in a position to maybe draw some attention, maybe draw some direct aggro. But do so in defense mode. And then do we want the archers to run into a shooting position or merely a semi-support position? We have enough casting resources to drop 3 elementals over the course of combat here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick the first one now.
Okay.
Hold on, does this tile... There's a fire pit here. Is it actually conferring burn? It doesn't look like it. Obviously I don't want to summon our unit on a fire pit if it's actually going to be, problematic. But I do want it to be in a position where it's adjacent to both of these enemies so that they have a hard time moving away. Alright, and that's a lightning weakness. Like, our spirit is not particularly great against their spirit, but mostly what I'm trying to do here is create a distraction to allow us to separate their armies.
Right. Good plan.
So I do think I'm going to not attack with the Shademaker this turn. I'm hoping that these two will get kind of stuck on the spirit while the birds continue to advance on us. It's looking pretty good. And keep in mind, because of the link, he's gonna get a chunk of THP at the beginning of the turn. And he's got a whirlwind attack. Now, does this whirlwind attack... Does it hit only enemies? No, it's all adjacent units. So you would have to back up a step. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll take the little attack. That's fine. All right, so whirlwind strike. Followed by punch, punch. Followed by shoot, shoot. Should be a pretty clean kill. Almost have a kill over there, even. So you can get this done. Yeah, then we can have the archer fire here. Probably not get the kill, but do some decent damage, and then the thing does have burning on it. So obviously the hope is that that will do some more of the work.
Right.
And do I want to... Do we want to cast over here again?
I think so.
We need one more turn with these birds before we turn our attentions this
Yeah.
way.
That's what I would do, but I'm not the expert. So
Okay. And I mean, it's not like we're not doing any damage. It's not just
Right.
a distraction, but it is a good distraction. Okay, so it's got those two over there. Sadly, the burn has not been sufficient to kill these guys. They're close. Ah, and then they ran over and did their carrion bird thing, right? Well, the good news is they're quite low. Oh, this is a cooldown. Okay, well, why don't you just put those guys away? Well, that's inconvenient. All right, I think we will just let them approach us now.
Okay.
Yep, okay. Wanted to make sure we got that out of the way in a situation where it wasn't going to be a big deal. Alright, so the terrain is electrified. But I think the way I want to deal with this is just by, like, forcing through here.
Okay.
We can throw Distracted and 3 Sundered defense on this guy. Yeah, mark as prey. And then we hunt. Should be pretty straightforward. All right, morale's doing pretty well. We're okay here. Let's try not to stand in the electric goop. And obviously it would be best if these guys were not able to get to my archers, but there's only so much we can do about that. No, I'm gonna run around the back here. I'm gonna try really hard to keep this archer alive. Our frontline troops are so tough because they're 2 heroes. I don't want to lose an archer to a scrap hermit. Would be embarrassing. These guys are tough, though. Annoyingly tough. Alright, how do I get you out of the lightning? I guess we can run around here and I can throw fire.
Okay.
Yeah, the fire evocation only bounces to enemies nearby. %, damn. And it never gets any better. I was really not expecting it to take so long to bring down the. Like, I guess they're in cover bushes and stuff, but still,
Yeah.
really not expecting it to take so much effort to bring them down. The enemy's fleeing the field. I mean, I'd like to kill him. There we go. I think that's a fine way to claim victory.
Yeah, and you did not lose all your units like the game was predicting. So I feel
Well,
like you
but
did
again, the magic, aside from obviously the application of tactics, which the game does not always do, I had the game set to not use spells, and spellcasting was for sure 100% required for us to succeed the way we succeeded.
Yeah.
Got another Shademaker out of Pervalion. You guys are headed for, annoyingly, bird battle. You know what? I'll take that. I think that's an okay win.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping that they wouldn't spawn another army because we still have to fight the army that's on the nest. Okay, so now we know where Kelton is. Hey, look, it's actually just loose treasure on the ground. That's pretty fun. We are researching the cage of binding as quickly as we can. And what are you doing? I suppose we could run up this way and try to get into a position to provide some backup. Alright, so we've destroyed 2 of the 3 nests that were just like infestations rather, that were frenzied and sending troops at us. We're working on our third. We have finally met the other faction. We're working on our cage of binding for them. Again, really not okay to ask a stranger. Like, go on one date first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not trying to be excessively old-fashioned. There we go. Okay. We can get to the nestless turn. Let's just finish it off.
Would that be the weirdest thing that someone asked you before a date?
I'm going to plead the 5th. We earned a Wind Rager and the Halo of Necron. At the start of each turn, grants a base 90% chance of inflicting weakened on each adjacent enemy and makes this unit become strengthened. That's a pretty cool...
That's alright, yeah.
Pretty cool little piece of gear. Alright, so you can come back and join up with these fellows. Alright, we have secured... freedom from those who would assault us for the moment. But over here, an infestation is sending forces, apparently. Because it never ends. It can never, ever, ever end. Signature skill is available. I mean, we want to do an initiative nature, right? We're leaning into this Packmaster thing.
Right.
I do like the the way this looks. What are these called? These feathers that have like a really thin bottom, like the secretary birds and stuff have these.
Yeah, I don't know from birds, so I can't tell you. But
okay, fair enough.
But that's some good bird design.
Yeah, it's good bird design. This is all I'm saying. You know what? You could become obscured, especially since there are benefits for you being surrounded by enemies. And since there are benefits for you being surrounded by enemies, you get the halo. Yeah, let's go ahead and repair this province improvement. We were not able to stop them from raiding it, but we can put it back together now. Herbalion is ready to pick up another region. We still have those special districts that want to be next to as many foresters as possible. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. That'll be a fine one of those. So these units I was setting up here to join up with these armies, but at this point we've sort of taken our losses and we don't really need these two anymore. So I guess they're becoming an army unto themselves. And I suppose I'll turn them around and send them back down here. We don't need more reinforcements up north, but it would be helpful to have more than one stack down here. The bird can gain us 43 mana. So we could go to the eye. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to. Now that we're friendly, we're allowed to move around in your territory. And you are just continuing to scout, although it's obviously a lot less important of a task at this point, given that we found what we were looking for. Okay, we have the resources to cast a bunch of spells. I don't think we're actually casting anything, but it likes to let you know. Production in the capital is not set on purpose. Here we can start building a vendor. Right now I'm just pulling resources because we're going to need them. And so at this point, it may well be the case that the only thing that matters is the cage of binding.
Yeah.
I know we've hit the... Oh, never mind. I was going to say we've hit the hour, but let's take another turn or two here. But actually, we just finished our cage of binding, and we have the resources to fire right now. So let us summon a cage of binding from the depths of the astral sea. Targeting self. Press launch button. Okay, so it doesn't actually target anything. I just hit the button. All right. Let's do it. You are alone in a secret chamber of your wizard's tower. Before you lies the cage of binding, a cold dark casing representing the void. It had not been easy to get a hold of it. The secrets of its creation are shrouded in mysteries. Only through a stroke of genius could you conjure the cage from a realm of shadows and horror. And strangely so, it gives you grim satisfaction. Now see, this is the kind of stuff where, like, this is all bullshit, you're lying to me. I clicked a button to research a thing because it's just a normal research and it's in my book of normal researches. This is the place where, like, the things that this game wants to tell you that are happening that are beyond its set of verbs is really, like, becoming a problem.
Right.
I would love it if this were true in some way. If there had been some kind of, like, if there was some kind of mechanical something to the way magic works, and that you did have to accomplish some kind of task or face some kind of challenge in order to get access to this. But because that's extremely not what happened, I hate that they wrote this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying, well, this is the kind of problem that you come across in board game design, especially, where if you want to express something within the elegant system you've created, there are some things you just can't express effectively. And I think it's better to try to just do the things that are within your purview.
Yeah,
to
I
try
would
to do
definitely
something like
agree.
this.
All right, we're going to enter the cage of binding and show them that apparently we can be tricked into doing literally anything, and that's going to make them our friend, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the foundation of a healthy, long-lasting relationship. You are adrift in your mind, surrounded by nothingness. Was it a mistake to enter the cage of binding? It seems this question might become the torture of your remaining existence, like an alternate torment of shadows which exposes you to your inner demons forever, or until Valerie of House Avernos decides to end you. The void is all-encompassing, eternal, yet also nowhere and never. You cannot grasp it. During this time of timelessness, one recurring thought, strangely so, keeps your mental health intact. Well, I did it all for a noble cause. Without distractions, I can finally dedicate my mind to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. When I return, my wrath will know no equal, or my bravery and sacrifice will be immortalized in legends. You know me, I'm always kind of like...
Yeah, the second one seems like the best. Yeah.
I'm always kind of like knowledge. All of a sudden, a voice reaches out to you, rupturing what could have been a century of isolation. Let us talk, Growlin Spring Shower. I must admit I am perplexed, Emperor. Valerie of House Avernos reveals herself while glimpsing into your abyss. You are not what I expected. It would have been easy to seek me out on the battlefield and attempt to eradicate me as a threat. Instead, you chose this, a helpless limbo some may regard as worse than death. It makes me question our condemnation of all Wizard Kings, and more. When Edward Portsmouth ordered the attack on the Cruzura, I had doubts, but I trusted his judgment. Perhaps Larissa was right. I will release you from this terrible isolation. Then, tell me what it is you want to talk about. Please explain why you are besieging the Cruzura. Besieging? Valerie's voice trembles with anger. We were given no choice. We arrived on Manohari as refugees. Scarred by the torment of shadows and famished, we hoped to find a rest at these astral shores. The Cruzura, however, have acted adversarial since our first contact. Yeah, they do that. We tried to negotiate a permanent settlement, yet their Yukara Zandera the Phoenix insisted we should abandon all weapons, which we couldn't. Eventually, our supreme leader, Edward Portsmouth, grew impatient and hijacked the Cruzura's arcane artifacts to seek aid beyond Manohari. And this was when the fighting started. Okay. Your attempts to frame this incursion as self-defense are pitiful. No, we're not going to war with them. If this is so, you will surely endorse my plans to end this needless bloodshed. Perhaps Valerie of House Avernos examines you from top to bottom. But first, I must ask you a favor, of course. The land ship, which would become the vessel of our misery, housed a strongbox buried deep within the captain's quarters. Valerie hands to you a parchment with the technical sketch of a juggernaut. When we crashed upon Manohari, much of the land ship scattered within the area, and though we tried to scavenge what we could, the site had to be abandoned when the conflict with Cruzura escalated. I want you to salvage the strongbox from the broken juggernaut. What is inside? Oh, nothing of your concern.
What is that punctuation?
What?
After
Juggernaut, comma, space, period?
Okay.
I wonder if what they wrote here was like, I want you to salvage the strongbox from the broken juggernaut, code insert name, but then they didn't bother to give it a name. Because the formatting is correct if there was a name right before the period, right?
Right.
All right, for the sake of peace, I will do you this favor, even though it's kind of, whatever. 5 pickups near the land ship, and the strongbox itself has to be salvaged. And that's not too far from us. So, we're not going to pursue it right this second, but we have our goal for next time. I think that's going to be it for us for today, and thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we are pushing forth to reclaim the remnants of the Juggernaut. Period.
Okay.
And hopefully, in doing so, filling out the last of the weird little list of chores necessary to make peace on this planet. Like, it simultaneously feels like an annoying amount of things and also just nowhere near enough for what it is that we're doing. These people have been at war for centuries, and it's just like, well, talk to the Phoenix, and then go do a couple 1v1s with people the Phoenix doesn't like, and then talk to the remnants, and then go retrieve their lost necklace or whatever. And then bam, war over, right? But all centuries of conflict, I'll put behind us.
I don't know how well this kind of scriptive, lore-intensive narrative gels with these mechanisms. You know, there are narrative elements in some of the other fantasy 4X games, but as far as like this like kind of story scenario thing, I'm not convinced it's the best fit.
Yeah, they want this to be, you know, an epic fantasy story, but that's not a thing you can do with a war game. Really, right? As much as you could be like, well, but a big part of Lord of the Rings was Aragorn leading armies and whatnot. Sure, but you can't tell stories about Gandalf in that way, right? You can't talk about what the hobbits are up to by speaking in terms of army movements.
Yeah, and that's one of the big problems of, you know, I have the very first Lord of the Rings board game. I have a copy of it, and from the 70s. And that's a huge problem with it. Is like it just, it has some of the stuff, so you can recognize, oh, here's the pipeweed, here's this and that, but it doesn't tell the story. It's more just a way for you to remember the story that you already know. And this story feels like, I'm sorry, and I don't want to be mean, but it feels like the kind of fantasy series you find in a bookshop that one friend of yours is really into, but no one else has ever heard of. Mm-hmm. But that's the quality of the writing for me.
Yeah. Endless Legend, so we're playing this at the same time that we're playing Endless Legend 2. And we actually commented on this in the last episode of Endless Legend 2, right? Whereas, like, we're getting all these quests from these minor factions, and it's all these different things. You know, these guys are worried about social pressures from their changing ecology, and these guys are having problems with, you know, all these other things. But it breaks down to everybody's always like, so go kill that army of guys over there, and then that will solve our problems. But I think Endless Legend benefits a lot from its the end goals of its narrative being things that do actually work on the scale and verbs that the system has available, right? In the end, you're not negotiating a peace treaty to end a massive war. You're conquering this much territory, pacifying this many villages, accumulating this many resources, right? Like the things are within the system. Anyway, come back next time for a silly little list of tasks, and we'll see you then.